In this video, we will mix the vocals and there are some synth tracks that need mixing, all in real time for this pop punk / emo song. What troubles me with mixing vocals is how dry they are. You know, you don't hear vocals like that, and it does affect your decision making when mixing. So what I've been doing is actually just putting a really short verb on the vocals. So you can't really tell there's a verb, but it does make a hell of a difference when it comes to it sounding natural. I'll mute this short verb and hopefully you'll hear how awkward it sounds when the verb is off. I scream a promise to the air. This is part 4 of this real-time mixing video series where we will mix a song from start to finish, all in real time, without cutting out or skimming past anything. The link to get the whole series so far is in the description, and if you want to buy the multi-tracks to this song and mix along, you can get them from my Shopify in the link in the top right corner. Right, wasting no more time, we'll get into it. So these are the synth tracks that are mostly textures. They sort of pop out a little bit, but it's not quite a lead. There are times when they're leads, like in the choruses, maybe it sort of blends with the lead guitar and in the intro. What we've got, these are actually played from they're not like a virtual instrument. This is a real synth. Nothing fancy. They're played on a Behringer MS1, which is a mono synth, and it's just for like single note stuff, really, just to add a bit of like, remember back in like 2004 when you had this synth was sort of getting into emo, just to give a bit of throwback to that, really. And then you see the plugins that are already on here. These are actually a carryover from the recording session, so mostly it's just a little plate, which is just a short plate reverb. But there is these tremolo tracks here. We actually wanted a tremolo effect on it, so typically that's not a decision made in mixing, that was a production decision. So I'll just quickly show you what that is. Yeah, so without that, you wouldn't understand, you know, as a mixer, if you were given that, if you say you recorded that and you were giving it to a mixer, you'd need to leave that tremolo in or at least let them know about it because, you know, what are the chances they're going to have the same idea? That's these 3 tremolo tracks all have that tremolator on, and that is literally, it's just a tremolator from Sound Toys, but any tremolo is going to do it. Normally I would bake them in, you know, I would just export the tracks with them in, and that's what you'll get if you do want to grab the multi-tracks. And then last one here, we've got this Trem Pan, which is Tremolator and Pan Man, both from Sound Toys. And that sounds like this. Yeah, a bit of a crazy one, but it's cool. It sounds cool. So I'll play you what we have now. So this is what we've mixed so far, which is rhythm guitar, bass, drums, and now with this sort of unmixed synth, we're just going to get the balance for it, which I think is probably already going to be there as it's a carryover from the session. So you can see I've got volume changes and panning done already. But this is what it sounds like now. Yeah, and then you got this bit with the tremolo panning synth. Cool, and then let's get to the choruses. The chorus plays through once, and on the repeat, the synth comes in. Yes, that's what we're working with now. So we are going to mix the vocals into that, and then we'll quickly do a little bit of mixing on the synth because they don't need too much. You know, they sound great. They're already slotting in well already. So a little bit of like fine tuning. So vocals can sometimes take the longest, and you know, arguably maybe they should because they are the most important element. I know a lot of us are guitarists and drummers and stuff, but we have to admit that the vocals are what people are going to hear and judge and enjoy a song by once it's being streamed on Spotify or whatever. So we have to sort of just suck that up. Okay, so I've looped the chorus now. I'm going to unmute. We've got the vocal bus muted. There's a lot of vocal tracks. Got the vocal bus muted, but I actually want to just mix the main vocal really. So let's get everything else that's not going to feature for now muted as well. We've got some doubles and harmonies in there, but we'll get to those. Cool, everything's muted. The first thing I want to do is compress this. There's no two ways around that. I know I didn't record the vocals with a compressor on the way in, so we're going to do that effectively now. We're going to emulate what that would have been. I'm going to start with the same compressor I was using on the kick and the snare, which is the FG Stress, which is a distressor plugin. And I'm going to go to a 4:1 ratio. Quite like the tack and release that's already there. So let's hear this. Okay, so I'm just getting a rough volume out of that compressor just to make sure I've gain staged it right. That lead synth is going to cause us a bit of issue, so I'll mute that for now. Okay, so it obviously sounds raw as anything, doesn't it? It has been tuned. We just need to make it sound like a polished vocal. So that compressor will help us get a rough, we're making sure the level is kind of consistent. And then I'm going to emulate running it through a preamp. So I'm going to get the Shep 73 up. And sometimes I push this to get a little bit of saturation out of it. We'll see. Yeah, I like that saturation. Going to bring the output down so that I haven't boosted the volume too much. I'm going to put this high pass filter in there as well. The only thing with this, and I guess it's the same with the Neve in real life, these EQ bands, 50, 80, 160. I kind of want to be in between 80 and 160, but we've got other EQs that we can use. So I'm going to bring the output down, get the gain stage back in, and then we'll carry on getting this even vocal. Cool. So something I typically do with vocals is use a multi-band compressor. I use the linear MB from Waves, which I will load up now. And this one just has a nice sound to it. Yes, I am doing it for the actual, multi-band effects where we're going to try and stop any sort of frequency band from jumping out, which helps us give a even vocal. But I won't be doing too much of it. So the decision that I make usually is, do the vocals sound flat and boxy, or do they sound harsh and thin with maybe a bit too much like top end? I'm talking about when they sound raw. So if they sound harsh and thin, I'll use soothe and I'll reduce the harshness. If they sound flat like they do now, flat as in EQ flat, not flat as in note or as in tuning flat. There's a lot of mid-range in there. It doesn't sound necessarily pleasing. That's when I'll use this Lin MB. So on these master controls here, I'm going to drag the range to be full, and then the threshold, we'll see if we need to dial it in, because it's going to probably do things now with that range put to full. Yeah, that's really cool. This does this sort of like automatic trim thing, so it's kind of hard. It does bring it down in volume. So I will try to show you an A and B of this off and on, but the volume is going to change. And it might even, the delay compensation, because it's an old plugin, doesn't quite work that well either. So it might knock us out of time, but try and listen past those things if you can. Yeah, hear how it's smoother and more even that sounds. It's cool. That's a good starting point. That's sort of what running it through high-end outboard gear when you record on the way in sort of sounds like. And the Lin MB is just helping our performance and mic technique keep things even. Now, I'm going to use a dynamic EQ for the Pro Q3 in dynamic mode just to pinch those bits that still sort of stick out in a weird way. It's not going to be much, but I'm going for an even vocal here. Sort of compressed, bit more polished, even sounding vocal. Cool. So let's hear if we've got any spots we can help that jump out. Cool, so there is a note that jumps out awkwardly. You can see it on the peaks. The one that's around here is fine, and then when this one jumps out, it hits the saturation a bit strange, pokes out a little bit. That's what I'm trying to control here. Yeah, B here, it happens not so bad, but it's the first one, the first held note. It's I scream a promise to the air, but the air, it's that note when it goes down, sounds a little bit, it sort of pokes out. Yeah, that one there. I'm just gonna narrow that a little bit. Yeah, wider was better. I think it covers that whole range then. I don't think it sounds too harsh just yet, but we might have to come back it once we do some more EQing in a boosting sense. Yeah, just a little bit there at 2K. Cool. So I'm just stopping these, frequency bands or just little resonances, whatever you want to call them, sort of jumping out at certain points. Specific to every singer, really. So that is like an input chain. We've corrected a couple of things with the performance. We've kept it even EQ wise, but and then we've compressed and run it through a preamp, and that's sort of emulating that high end outboard gear sort of sound. So the way I've got this is I've got a few vocal tracks, but they run to a vocal bus. So I'm able to do the emulating of the input chain on the individual tracks, and then I'm going to mix on the bus because I have multiple tracks that I can do this. There's no other reason to bus it to a vocal bus other than the fact that I want the same, I could copy and paste them, put all the effects on each track and copy and paste them over, but why? Cool. So this is always tricky whether you want to do EQ or compression at this point. So let's imagine that input chain was baked in. We got it. We know there was a compressor on the way in. Do we need to compress straight away, or do we want to try and EQ from this point and then compress afterward? I actually think it sounds like it needs more compression. So I'm going to use something that's quite heavy-handed, but I'm going to use it. It's actually a limiter. I'm going to use it in a bit more of a subtle way. So this plugin has it can be really good in some situations and really bad and kill it in others. It's always hard to work out what to do. So IK Multimedia make a multi-band limiter. This is it here. So it can cause problems. So it might be too much, but let's give it a try. Yeah, it's super upfront. It might be too much. And it's not really doing too much gain reduction. Let me bring the volume down a little bit. It might just be the fact that we've made it really loud now. I like the level of compression. It obviously is a lot, but I like it. It's bringing out what I think we couldn't hear before. I think that it probably needs a little bit more cleaning up from that Pro Q3. It's just been exposed by now the fact that it's been brought out of the instrumental behind it. So I'm going to try this Pro Q3. I'm going to try and tame those bits that aren't so nice to hear. If I don't like it, then we'll remove that limiter and we'll use something else. that word tomorrow that's bugging me.
Back up tomorrow, I will be
I think I just need to grab this band and move it up here.
here. Back up tomorrow, I will be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there.
Yeah, it's actually not too bad. Let's hear the whole thing.
I scream a promise to the air. Back up tomorrow, I will be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes.
Yeah, there's a bit of saturation happening, maybe too much. But that can go back to that and we can bring this overload down. Maybe reduce these bands a little bit. Cool.
I scream a promise to the air. Back up tomorrow, I will be here. But I know that.
Okay, I'm happy with that level of compression. We can now make it shine and be a bit more polished sounding. So what I've been doing lately is, what troubles me with mixing vocals is how dry they are. You know, you don't hear vocals like that, and it does affect your decision making when mixing. So what I've been doing is actually just putting a really short verb on the vocals. So you can't really tell there's a verb, but it does make a hell of a difference when it comes to it sounding natural. So I've already got this vocal verb, Vox verb bus here. I'm going to use that later. So I'm going to make a new one and we're going to call it short verb. Call that short verb. And I'm going to bring it into the arrange window by creating the track because I want to see it. Yeah, there we are. Cool. So on to short verb. I'll make sure it buses to our all Vox. We've got an all Vox bus there that all the vocals go to. Okay, so I have a choice now. I want a really short, like decay, really short tail. I'll try. So I like this little plate from Sound Toys, but the shortest I can make it is this 0.5, and sometimes it really is just too long. Let's hear that.
I scream a promise to the air. Back up tomorrow, I will be here.
Tad too long, that is, yeah. So let's change that. I'm going to go for another one I like to do when that is too long, and that's a Valhalla Room. It's a plate reverb at the end of the day. So if you've got anything that has a plate reverb, you know, the ones that come with Logic have them. I like this sizzle plate here, and then we're going to try and make it as short as we can.
I scream a promise to the air. Back up tomorrow, I won't be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes.
Okay, it's that short, but it just makes it sound more like you're listening to someone rather than you're hearing a dry vocal in a session. I'll mute this short verb and hopefully you'll hear how awkward it sounds when the verb is off.
I scream a promise to the air.
Obviously, it's louder than you'd have it in the mix. Let's make it a bit more realistic. But you can hear the difference, right? How awkward it is without it.
I scream a promise to the air. That come tomorrow, I won't be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes.
Yeah, that helps. I can't tell you how much that has helped me get vocal mixes into songs, because they always sound weird at first and you make decisions based on them sounding dry and awkward, and this just helps massively. So in context,
I scream a promise to the air.
and I'll do the muting of the verb again. You shouldn't really tell other than that sort of sounds dry and awkward.
I scream a promise to the air. Back up tomorrow, I will be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes.
Yeah, cool. Don't want it too loud because it sounds like a chorusy if you do it too loud. You know, it's very similar to a slapback delay. But I don't like slapback delays because I just find they poke out with sibilants and stuff like that. And I like the sort of slight EQ or frequency shift that you get as like a amalgamation of both the verb and the dry vocal. The EQ sort of shifts a little bit. It's like because I've got like a plate reverb, it's like a nice shimmer. Okay, so now I think we can actually do some EQ. And I want to bring out a mid-range in this vocal here. I want to bring out something that sounds like a nice character to it before I start bringing some air and top end in and making it too thin. I want the mid-range to be there to help balance that and keep it from sounding too poppy, I guess.
I scream a promise
Go back to this Pro Q3 actually. I might as well do my high pass filter.
I scream a promise to the air. There comes tomorrow, I will be here. But I know that I'll be back.
You know what, looking at that, I probably could have used the 160 on the Shep 73 filter anyway. Okay, back to the SSL channel EQ and we'll get this mid-range.
I scream a promise to the air. There comes tomorrow, I will be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes.
I exaggerated it then. I'm trying to find the bit where I don't want to boost it and it be boxy. Trying to find a cool, like, rough mid-range without it being harsh or boxy, or making it sound sort of like that.
I scream a promise to the air. There comes tomorrow, I will be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes.
Okay, cool. So now I know we need some top end, but at least I've got the mid-range roughly where I want it. Gonna put a little bit of compression on here as well. Just I sort of dial the compression in gradually over all the different compressors. It won't be doing much, but it helps.
I scream a promise to the air. There comes tomorrow, I will be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes.
So I'm trying to find a bit of bite here, a little bit of life. We're going to put air on it a little bit, make it a bit brighter anyway. So I don't want to go up to like 6, 7K just yet. Trying to find a bit of like a bit of attitude, a bit of bright punkiness.
I scream a promise to the air. There comes tomorrow, I will be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes.
You can hear when it's too much, right? We're dealing with a human voice, so we know intuitively when we've pushed something that sounds weird.
I scream a promise to the air.
There, for example.
I scream a promise to the air. There comes tomorrow, I will be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes. I scream a promise to the air. There comes tomorrow, I will be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes.
Cool, I like that bit. So now we're going to go for this top end. I don't want it to sound airy and poppy, but I do want to lift it a little bit. It might not be this EQ. I do have another one that I use for brightness to vocals because it can be smoother. We'll see what we get out of this one, and if not, we'll move on to the other one that I might use.
I scream a promise to the air. There comes tomorrow, I will be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes.
All right, let me just compare that. So I've turned that back to 0 just for now. I'm going to use this other EQ just to see what sounds better. So it's Moog DSP and it's the 4020 Retro EQ. And it's because this top band is so smooth.
I scream a promise to the air. There comes tomorrow, I will be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there.
Yeah, it is smooth, isn't it? Right, so let's compare. Put this back to where it was.
I scream a promise to the air.
Turn that off and go back to the Moog DSP.
I scream a promise to the air.
Yeah, I prefer the Moog DSP, I think. So we'll leave that 8K off. It was a bit spiky. And I'm going to give it an 1176 compressor, I think. I kind of want to see how it sounds with like compression for attitude and feel. This isn't for dynamic control anymore. So I'm going to go bluey and we'll probably put the attack sort of down the middle, maybe 4:1 ratio. We're just going to bring out the transient and make it sort of spitting in your face sort of sound.
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I will be here.
Because the first line's quite aggressive and the next line is softer. And I don't want to lose the vocal in that softer line either. I want to keep the aggression in there, even though the emotion is sort of on a lull.
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I will be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there.
I think that sounds cool. Sometimes you just need a lot of compression. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes people don't want that. You know, this is where you make a decision on how modern and upfront you want it to sound. I actually don't want the vocals to sound too throwback, too old from like an era gone by. I actually want them to be quite upfront and quite polished, quite mixed. You know, you would use less compression and sort of let them sit into the instrumental a bit more at times. That was more the sound you were after. But here we're going to go for a sort of more modern compressed vocal.
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I will be here.
Yeah, so you see how much smoother and like locked in place it sounds with the compressor.
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I will be here. But I know that I'll be
Cool. So a bit of de-essing now because the S's jump out a little bit. This was recorded into a SM7B, but what I would have done would have taken off the cap and I would have used a pop filter. And that's why the S's aren't too bad here, because it can be problematic. Plosives and S's, when you just have the pop filter that comes with the SM7B, the little cap, not always enough. And I do find that and a pop filter is too much. So I like to take the cap off and just use the pop filter. Cool. So DSR from Black Salt Audio is my favorite de-esser at the moment. Dial this in.
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I will be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been out here. I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I will be.
Yeah, I don't want it to sound like I've got a lisp happening. That first one I was worried about because it's quite strong. You can see the meter jumping, but I can't hear it. It's quite transparent.
I scream a promise to
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so I think now might be the time to try some tape saturation. It is already saturated and naturally the vocal already is it's got that sort of like rasp to it in bits. So this could be too much and it might come off. I might not use it, but it is always worth me trying it because I sometimes like how it sort of makes it seep into the music. But we're talking subtle stuff here.
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I will be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes.
Cool. I don't want it to, on those like already distorted notes that happen naturally, I don't want it to suddenly jump, the distortion to jump. So I'll tuck it just under that, but I kind of like it sounding a little bit saturated. I think it's cool.
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I won't be here. But I know
I like what it does to those like distorted notes without it jumping out. You know, I like it sort of softens the saturation a little bit, but you still get that sort of emotion that comes from that saturated performance.
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I won't be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there.
Yeah, cool. Now, when it comes to brightness, and vocals and where they sit. At this point, I try and keep it in keeping with the rest of the mix that we've got so far, because once you get mastering happening, things turn bright naturally and vocals can jump out from that point. But I do think I want to just try that. If you remember from the previous videos, we used this Spectre, which is it basically saturates or excites these different EQ bands. You use it like an EQ, but it's not an EQ. It effectively excites them. So I'm going to see if I can find some cool spots that make it sit, maybe a little bit of actual proper air in the vocal. It might be not what I want, but it's worth giving it a try and see if we like it.
I scream a promise to the air. There come tomorrow, I will be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been a hero.
I liked that air, so I'm going to keep that. And I might bring out a bit of the bottom of the vocal. I don't want it to sound plosive-y, and I don't want it to sound boxy. So I'm just going to give it a sweep around and see if I like it.
I scream a promise to the air. There come tomorrow, I will be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been a hero.
You see what the air sounds like off and on.
I scream a promise to the air.
Yeah, it's subtle. Let's do the whole thing off and on.
I scream a promise to the air. I scream a promise to the air. There come tomorrow.
Yeah, we're talking 2% here, but I like that. So I think now would be a good time for a little bit of delay. I'm going to make use of this vocal delay bus I've already got there. Bus it to that. Cool, so it's coming through on that vocal delay bus there. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, and make a note of this plugin, because I don't know if there's anything else like it. It's really useful at times. This from Applesoft here, Split S, and it detects the S's, and you can bring the S's down. So if you've ever edited vocals where you've had to cut the sibilants and bring that sibilants down, this can do it automatically. Fantastic. Or you can mute the sibilants altogether. And as it's a delay send, I'm going to do that because I don't want the delays on those S's and stuff to sort of jump out. So let's hear this. I'm going to get the right points there. It's only getting the S's.
I won't be here, but I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there.
Yeah, cool. All right, so it's muting the S's. It sounds very weird by itself.
Our role models have ever been a.
Yeah, it sounds very weird by itself. So this is the send with the S's muted.
There come tomorrow, I won't be here.
Yeah, weird. But we're gonna now add the delay on it, and you'll have all the delay, the goodness of delay, without the S's jumping out. So I'm gonna use the Mary Mannequin delay because it's my favorite delay. That or the H delay from Waves, but this is my favorite. Yeah, we'll do a quarter note to start with. I know I'm gonna want the low end sort of removed, and a bit of verb on the delay. This is down here, maybe a bit of doubler happening too. Let's hear it.
I scream a promise to the air. There come tomorrow, I won't be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joke.
Yeah, now we've got nice ambience. So we've got that really short verb, which is giving it a natural sound. Now we're getting some ambience in with a delay, and we're not getting a washy, reverby sound.
I scream a promise to the air. There come tomorrow, I won't be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been a hero.
Yeah, and where it's like a sort of quarter note, it adds a bit of energy to it. Sometimes I like to do a half note where it's a bit more backgroundy, but this is sort of giving a bit of a push to the vocal.
I scream a promise to the air.
Yeah, really cool. I like it. Just quickly, if you make music like this and you want me to mix your next song or release, head over to my website, terrybeckleyrecording.com. Scroll down to the contact form, send me a message there, and I will get back to you. The link is in the description. So very important, with choruses especially in this kind of music, pop punk, emo, that is your vocal layering. And I just think, yeah, okay, it sounds, mixed and stuff, but I think you're missing that sort of like production edge if you don't have doubles or harmonies and stuff like that coming in. Yes, it probably sounds more in your face and intimate if you've got just the one vocal, maybe a mono double in there, but this is a big anthemic chorus the way I see it. So I think doubles and harmonies all the way. So we've got this vocal stereo double. This is 2 double tracks of the main vocal, 1 panned hard left, 1 pan hard right, and they're just summed together in this stereo track. So I'm going to bring that in now and we're going to mix it. Probably not going to use EQ, because what I like to do with these is fill in the gaps that I've maybe cut with EQ. I don't want them to sort of shine over the top of they're doubles at the end of the day, they're not harmonies. So it's going to be compression and then probably keeping them, like gluing them into the track, I suppose, with all those bits we've cut out and enhanced from the main vocal not being there.
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I will be here, but I know that I'll be back 'cause I'm a joking.
Cool. First thing I'm going to do is pretty much do the same input chain, because if we were doing that with our outboard gear, we'd probably have the same input chain when we recorded these. So back to FG Stress. Only difference is now that we are in stereo, because we have a stereo track, 4:1 ratio. Probably don't want it to be as aggressive with the slow attack, fast release. Let's just bring it down to 5 and 5 and go from there.
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I will be here, but I know that I'll be back 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models are there.
Yeah, so too loud, it sort of sounds like a chorusy effect. I don't want that.
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I will be here, but I know that I'll be back 'cause I'm a joking night out there.
Yeah, it's just a thick vocal happening now. This is a very tightly edited double track. I used Vocaline on these. So if you listen to them in solo,
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I won't be here, but I know that I'll be back 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models are.
right, you can't hear, it's not messy at all. It's tightly edited. And that's very important with these kind of doubles. So let's get a balance.
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I won't be here, but I know that I'll be back 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role.
Yeah, I like that. Just a subtle thickening up. So gonna do the Shep 73. Not gonna saturate it this time because I don't want to overdo it. Gonna put the high pass engaged though, but that's probably it.
I scream a promise to the air.
Yeah, cool. And we're gonna do the multi-band again because it's a little boxy.
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I won't be here, but I know that I'll be back.
And also this does do things to the phase. So keeping that plugin on there is going to keep the phase pretty similar. Not that it matters too much with vocals, but you can hear it sometimes. I'm not going to use that Pro Q3. Now it's time to compress, but not necessarily EQ. And similar to the routing of the main vocal, this does go to a vocal stereo double bus, which is where we're going to do the actual mixing plugin. So I'm going to start with the same or the limiter, multi-band limiter. Right, let's dial in a similar thing.
Scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I won't be here, but I know that I'll be back 'cause I'm a joking night out that our role models has ever been a hero. I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I won't be here.
Yeah, I'm going for a compressed sound here for these doubles. I want them to be a thick texture. Obviously, having to whack that up, I'm going to have to now regain stage it.
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I won't be here, but I know that I'll be back 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes. I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I won't be here, but I know that I'll be back 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever.
Cool. It's sounding drier, so it will affect that. We'll change that too. And there's a little bit of mid-range clash happening, so we'll work on that now.
I scream a promise to come tomorrow, I won't be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes.
Cool. I actually liked when I was trying to find this frequency I didn't like, and I actually quite liked it boosted at 742. So I left that and I pulled it out at 1K or 1.5K instead. Okay, so I'm going to want to give it verb, but I don't want to give it that short verb. Now they're doubled, I'm going to give it a more traditional, bit of a bigger vocal verb. So we'll go for this on bus 33 here. We'll go for this Vox verb. So I'll send it to that instead. The reason I've got so many buses on here is because I've got to clean my template out a little bit. Send that to Vox verb, and then we're going to put probably the plate. Actually, I quite liked that. I quite like that from Sound Toys, that little plate.
I scream a promise to the air. There come tomorrow, I won't be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a drunken night out that our role models have ever been our heroes.
Nice. It's like a dull, thick reverb. Dial that in.
I scream a promise to the air. There come tomorrow, I won't be here. But I know that I'll be back.
Might brighten it up just a tad.
I scream a promise to the air. There come tomorrow, I won't be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a
Yeah, it also helps our stereo image. It sounds less disjointed, a bit more glued now. It's sort of filling in the center a little bit more. The width was there without the verb, and then when you bring the verb in, it sort of spreads it out, or fills it in, I should say.
I scream a promise to the air.
Cool. Let's hear what we've got so far, all vocals.
I scream a promise to the air.
Yeah, I like how that's sort of gelling together.
I scream a promise to the air. There come tomorrow, I won't be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night.
Cool. Still sounds a little raw, this stereo double. So I'm going to bring up the SSL EQ. Probably just going to bring down some of the top end. Get a bit of that compression happening that we had before. Dial that in quickly.
I scream a promise to the air. There come tomorrow, I won't be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes.
Just trying to sweep around. I've found something I don't really like. As I've already got this EQ up, I might as well find it with this.
I scream a promise to the air. There come tomorrow.
There it is. Bring that down.
I scream a promise to the air. There come tomorrow, I won't be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night.
Thought, going a bit crazy. I thought maybe I'll bring an 8K shelf in there. Not sure it was a bad idea. It might be a good idea.
I scream a promise to the air.
I actually maybe like a little bit of that top end push from the doubles.
I scream a promise to the air. There come tomorrow, I won't be here.
Yeah, I do. Just need a bit more compression on it now, really, because I think it's sort of jumping out a bit. I'm probably going to use Soothe because it's got a little bit of getting a little bit harsh.
I scream a promise to the air. There come tomorrow, I won't be here. But I know that
Yeah, nice. Okay, so now I've got to pick a compressor. I don't want the 1176 because I don't want it to be spitting in our faces and being aggressive like that. I kind of want to pin it. I'll try the 2A, but it does sometimes. I haven't got the full one here, which I liked because I like the top end bump you get. But this is probably not gonna. Well, we'll try it. We'll see what happens.
I scream a promise to the air. There come tomorrow, I won't be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a joking night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes.
I actually quite like that.
I scream a promise to the air. There come tomorrow, I won't be here.
Yeah, it's adding a bit of like excitement to that top end. The S's and stuff are jumping out, so bring them down. I am tempted to use that Applesoft plugin to bring them down rather than compress them, just bring them down.
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I won't be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a drunken night out that our role models have ever been our heroes.
Obviously sounds a bit lispy now, but let's hear it in context.
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I won't be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a drunken night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes.
No, I think where it's brighter. And honestly, the weird thing about doing this in real time, like I said in one of the earlier videos, all the sort of stuff that happens organically as you're mixing, I never have my doubles this bright. And I just thought I'd try it. I actually really like how it's sounding. Who knows, in a few moves time, I might think, well, those vocals are way too bright altogether, and I'll go back to type, what I normally do. But I'm going to go with it for the time being. And we're going to de-S those instead of doing the split S.
I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I won't be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a drunken night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes. I scream a promise to the air that come tomorrow I won't be here. But I know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a drunken night out.
Cool. Now that we've got like the basis of the vocals done, I'm getting a feeling that I'm getting a bit sick of mixing vocals. I don't want to make tired decisions and therefore lazy decisions. And I'm thinking this video is getting a bit long. So let's move on to the synths. And this will be a quick one really, because this is just about tucking the synths in. Let's hear the chorus with this lead synth now. I don't want it to be sticking out and conflicting with the vocals, and we'll have lead guitar to put on top of it as well.
Know that I'll be back, 'cause I'm a drunken night out there. Our role models have ever been our heroes.
Yeah, I don't think that necessarily needs anything else. That's more of a softer one. Let's go for these tremolo ones, because I would imagine we're going to want to do something to these.
Everyone I care for will have to wait, 'cause Monday came around so fast again.
Yeah, that vocal sounds a little bit exposed now. So that in the automation stage, we'll bring that down and tuck it into the music a little bit more. In fact, let's do that now, because I don't want to have it influence my decision. Bring it down.
Everyone I care for will have to wait, 'cause Monday came around so fast.
And that delay is causing us a problem now as well. Bit.
Everyone I care for will have to wait, 'cause Monday came around so fast again.
Yeah, there's a lot of layering going on in that verse, a heads up. So it won't sound as exposed, but I just want it to stop poking out as much. Okay, so first thing I think we need with this tremolo stuff is a little bit of distortion on the synths. They're a little bit clean. Not too clean, but where we've got the distorted, the palm muted guitar, I want to give it a bit of attitude to match that. I'm going to give it, before the little plate, I think, give it a bit of decapitator. It's a really cool saturation distortion plugin, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so yeah, I like what that does. It gives it a bit of that sort of muddy bump, low end bump. I like it. Okay, see what we can get away with on the drive. Yeah, I think there, maybe a bit darker. Yeah, because it is a verse.
Everyone,
Let's hear that on both the left and the right. Is that over?
everyone I care for will have to wait, 'cause Monday came around so fast again.
Yeah, I like it. I want to give it a bit of bite. So I think after that, my favorite bite plugin, I can get away with it with Synth because every EQ move you do on Synth is pretty smooth. Get the mag and we'll push this 2.5 kilohertz shelf up here.
Everyone I care for will have to wait, 'cause Monday came.
Cool, let's try that one and put it onto both of them.
Everyone I care for will have to wait, 'cause Monday came.
Cool, a bit pokey now. I think I might try something a little bit weird just to make it sit better. So Waves have this really cool plugin, the Real ADT. It's like I suppose it sort of creates a chorusing-y strange effect, but it can be a cool vibe and it can sort of blend things in. Yeah, that's it. Try that on both. Hopefully it won't be poking out as much now.
Everyone I care for will have to wait, 'cause Monday came around so fast again. Could you tell me you would be the same if you were made to face?
Bit of lower mid-range I might cut out.
Everyone I care for will have to wait, 'cause Monday came.
Although saying that, the guitar, yeah, I might do a quick little Andy Sneap trick here, which is, everyone does this, it's on the C4, where the palm mutant is chugging, it's adding a little bit of that sort of like muddiness, which is probably conflicting with that synth. I didn't really notice it too much before, but bypass all of these bands, I only want this lower mid band. We're going for where the palm mutes cause us issues, probably that. Yeah, see if that helped.
Everyone I care for will have to wait, 'cause Monday came around so fast again. Could you tell me you would be?
So we see that little bit of bump that I gave on the decapitator as well. Just gonna contain it a little bit. It could also be coming from the Real ADT, so I might have to move this EQ, but try it.
Everyone I care for will have to wait, 'cause Monday came around so fast again. Could you tell me you would be this?
No, I think that's okay. I think I will just do a little bit.
Everyone I care for will have to wait, 'cause Monday came around so fast again.
A little bit there as well. This is what the Real ADT is doing, but yeah, cool.
Everyone I care.
And then we've got this tremolo one here as well. So this is in the center, so this isn't necessarily needing any of the distortion and that kind of stuff. It just needs a little bit of Lin MB on it actually, just to stop it from jumping out in places, keep it a bit smoother. Yeah, as it moves around a little bit. Yeah, I like it. So this one that sort of jumps left and right is a bit weird. Let's have a listen to that. Yeah, I want that to have a bit of distortion, so I'm going to copy over what we've got from the other ones before the Pan Man, so while it's still in mono. Let's bring the decapitator over and bring the Real ADT over, not necessarily the EQ stuff. All right, what have we got happening now? Yeah, Cool. So the synth is already mostly there. It's a synth sound. You know, you pick it to fit the song. So that's just a little bit of fine tuning. So next up, we've got those chorus harmonies, and then we've got lots of different vocal layers throughout the song that we can really get into. So if you want to see other mixing videos like this with these kind of genres, pop punk, emo, etc., check out my channel because there's a ton of videos there. If you want to see how I would mix pop punk vocals for a strictly pop punk song, then you can watch this video here. Stay tuned for part 5 of this mixing series. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you at the next one.